Let's jump to Corinthians. See if we can get out of this. I was in Ezekiel. Alright, we're going to Corinthians. Right? We're going to 1 Corinthians chapter 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. Let's see. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. For there had no temptation taken you but such as it is common to man. But YAHAWASHI is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able, but will with the temptation also make a way to escape. So the temptation that you go through, YAHAWASHI is going to make a way to where you will escape it. You see, that's why you roll all your problems to YAHAWASHI. Okay? Because they are stronger than you, and if you rely on yourself, then you won't escape it. But if you rely on YAHAWASHI, you will escape it. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13. Bible. Let's see. I want to see the Amplified second. Woo, that's long. Alright, let me see. This 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 13, the different translations, right? This is the New International Version. No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to mankind. And YAHAWASHI is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. See that? See that? But you got to give it over to YAHAWASHI, you know, and not rely on yourself. Because them emotions that's within us can overwhelm us, man. Okay? And cause us to forsake YAHAWASHI. So you don't rely on yourself going through these trials, man. Okay? That's the whole purpose of you going through these trials and you being refined, is for you to rely on YAHAWASHI and put it on YAHAWASHI. That's what they looking for. That's what they want. Okay? And let them work it out. The New Living Translation. The temptation in your life are no different from what others experience. Okay? The men of Israel that came back and embraced their nationality and knew who their power was. The experiences that we going through, they went through it too. The men and the women, okay, back then in the ancient world. Okay? It says, it's the New Living Translation. The temptation in your life are no different from what others experience. And YAHAWASHI is faithful. He will not allow the temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. What? Endure serving him. Okay? Endure being faithful. Right? That's what it is. The Heavenly Father's Son put you through it to see. But they will help you out so you can endure serving them. Right? Amplified Bible. No temptation, regardless of its source. The Amplified Bible. No temptation, regardless of its source, has overtaken or enticed you that is not common to human experience, nor is any temptation unusual or beyond human resistance. But YAHAWASHI is faithful to his word. He is compassionate and trustworthy. and he will not let you be tempted beyond your ability to resist. But along with the temptation, he has in the past and is now and will always provide the way out as well, so that you will be able to endure it without yielding, without yielding, and will overcome temptation with joy. See? That's it. That's it. So let's jump to 2 Corinthians, because we all gonna go through it, and like he was explaining concerning mankind went through it. Now this is dealing with concerning temptations. This is dealing with Paul, right? Which this letter was written to the Israelites coming back to the fold, and Corinth, and Corinth is in Greece, what we know Greece today. That's where it was. So this was an Israelite that was in Greece, right? In Corinthians, right? So this is now this is dealing with a situation that Paul was dealing with in Ephesus and Ephesians, in Asia Minor, what we know as Turkey today, parts of Turkey, right? So this is 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse, let's see, 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 8. For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our troubles which came to us in Asia. That's in Turkey, right? Well, we know it's Turkey today, right? Asia Minor, right? That we were pressed out of measure above strength, insomuch that we despaired even our life. So Paul was catching it. So he was like, we finna die. In other words, you know, they was catching so much hell, Paul was catching so much hell teaching this word that he was like, man, we finna die, man. But this is what he said, okay? Verse 9, but we had a sentence of death in ourselves, see? That we should not trust in ourselves, but in YAHAWASHI, which raises the dead. So he relied on YAHAWASHI, even though the situation was emotional and he was going through that fiery trial, being persecuted for teaching the words of YAHAWASHI. He didn't rely on himself to get him through it. He relied on YAHAWASHI. And these are examples when you're reading the scriptures that we should follow, getting closer and closer to YAHAWASHI. These are the examples. Paul was being persecuted by his own people, okay? And that's what it is, okay? And that's what it is when you teach the truth, man. You're being persecuted by everybody, okay? You're being persecuted by everybody because there's a division there, okay? Because these people don't believe. I mean, I'm talking about people. I'm talking about the world, and I'm talking about the whole world, and 2/3 of our own people. They are unbelievers. So, walking this narrow path, you're going to be persecuted following YAHAWASHI. That's what you got to deal with, okay? And people going to turn on you. They're going to stab you in the back. They're going to leave you. They're going to abandon you. You know, they're going to lie on you. That's what they're going to do. But if you rely on yourself, you're going to fall. But if you rely on YAHAWASHI, He's going to allow it to where you're going to escape out of the situation. Okay? So, I'll read this again. This 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 8. For we would not, brethren, have you ignorant of our trouble. And that goes for the sisters too. Okay? Trouble, which come to us in Asia, that we are pressed out of measure above strength, in so much that we are despaired even of life. So I tell you this, you women out there, if you dealing with a man of the Lord, you're gonna catch straight hell. You're gonna catch it, because Satan is always gonna tap into your mind, and your mind is gonna be spinning like a Ferris wheel to go against the man who's serving YAHAWASHI, if you're following him. And that's what it's going to be. You're going to catch straight hell mentally, okay? You're going to be mentally tortured, right? And you better hold on to that man's garment. You better hold on to his fringes. You better hold on to him and don't let him go, because if you join to him, that's your way out, okay? That's your way out. But you're going to catch it mentally, you know, and physically too. You women out there that join to a man of the Lord that's doing this work is sincere, yeah, you're going to catch it. You're going to catch it, okay? And Satan going to tap into your mind and rebel, okay, against your husband, okay? But for you women out there that don't have a husband, okay, the Lord is going to fix it, right? To where you be joined to a man, okay? Because that's the order, okay? That YAHAWASHI set up. Women were not created to be by themselves. They were created to be with the man, okay? So that's the order, and that's the way it's going to be, okay? So it's coming back. But while you by yourself, you women out there, you learn this truth, you're going to catch straight hell too, mentally, okay? Physically too, you're going to catch it, okay? That is the narrow path that we as a nation gotta walk, okay? We gotta walk through it. Verse 9, but we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in YAHAWASHI, which raises the dead. Yeah, so that's it. Paul was telling you, look, he was catching. He got a sentence of death in him. Matter of fact, he had a sentence of death in him. Matter of fact, let's get verse 9 in the different translation. I want to see what Paul, in the different translation, what did it say? 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 9. Let's see what Paul had to say. It's yeah, Paul, like, man, this boy, I'm catching this boy. This 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 9, right? The New International Version. Indeed, we felt we had received the sentence of death. Yeah, because it was catching to teach this word. Paul, like, shit, we were sentenced to death. You know, what we going through, man. You know? It's like we were sentenced to death, man, what we going through. You know? But this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on YAHAWASHI who raises the dead, the New Living Translation. In fact, we expected to die. It's the New Living Translation. In fact, we expected to die, man. But as a result, we stopped relying on ourselves and learned to rely only on YAHAWASHI who raised the dead. Yeah, man. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. These scriptures is accurate, boy. These scriptures is accurate, boy. Woo! The Amplified Bible. Indeed, we felt within ourselves that we had received the sentence of death, and we were convinced that we would die. Yeah, man. That was catching hell, man. Okay? And then when Paul was speaking and rebuking people, and people were being separated from other people, man, other people who was making money off the people, they wanted to kill Paul. Yeah, man. They wanted to kill Paul. Okay? And whoever was following them, they wanted to kill him. Okay? Just like they look at us. When we teach his word and make videos to the Spirit of power, YAHAWASHI, there's people behind the scenes grinding their teeth because we teaching to follow YAHAWASHI. Come back to your nationality. people in the world get mad because they can't see it, and they like, man, if I had a chance to put them to death and I would go to jail, I'd do it. That's what they think. That's what they think. Oh boy. And people watch your video with jealousy and hate. I know they watch mine like that. I know they watch mine. They see me putting up through the spirit of power, YAHAWASHI, them chairs hovering around me, and they see me out here teaching by myself, and they see me enduring, boy, they watch me through the spirit of power, YAHAWASHI, and not relying on myself and relying on YAHAWASHI. Yeah, they watch my video with the spirit of jealousy and hate. If they could get their hands on me, they'll do it, man, with nobody looking. They'll do it. They'll put me to death, man. They want me out of here. Yeah, man. Oh, boy. Our own people keep watching the videos and grinding their teeth. You know, man. Amplified by it. Indeed, we felt within ourselves that we had received the sentence of death and were convinced that we would die. But this happened so that we would not trust in ourselves, but in YAHAWASHI, who raised the dead. Yeah, that's it. So let's jump to Matthew. See what we can get out of this. Let's go to Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse Alright, this is Matthew chapter 10, verse 20. It says, For it is not ye that speaketh, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. So the Heavenly Father and the Son influence us to speak when we speak. You know, people look at us like we saying it, but it's the Heavenly Father and the Son is making us say that. And when you think what you think against the men that's teaching His word that's sincere, you coming against the Heavenly Father, you know, and His Son. But you know, that's what it is when you walk that narrow path. You know, people watch these videos. That's why I tell you, people watch these videos, and I show the chariot of YAHAWASHI, right? And when you're in this truth, you should jump for joy when you see that, because it's not about me, it's about the Heavenly Father and His Son when I show you them chariots. But when you watch the videos and you look at the views and you look at the thumbs up, it's small, okay? But if you go look at some bullshit, okay, that ain't even showing the glory of the Lord, okay, ain't even talking about the glory of the Lord, they got more views and more thumbs up. That let me know that they don't truly believe in the Heavenly Father and Son like that. They're not sincere, okay? And they watch these videos with jealousy and envy, you know, and hatred. But that's what that let me see. You know, I ain't mad at them. You mad at? I'm throwing them problems. I'm rolling them problems to YAHAWASHI. You got to deal with YAHAWASHI, because they the one doing it. You know, I just laugh at it and say, oh well, you know. Sometimes I may be like, man, these niggas ain't shit. You know, I may say that you know, when I look and see the results of it, I say, man, these niggas Latinos and Americans ain't shit. Okay? They don't truly believe in the Heavenly Father and the Son, but I keep it moving. Okay? This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 20. For it is not ye that speaketh, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. Verse 21. And the brother shall deliver you up, the brother to death. So you're going to have men, okay, and your immediate family, men that's in this truth, going to turn on each other and deliver certain brothers up to death. And even your own brother that's in your immediate family, okay? Because of the division, okay? Because you follow YAHAWASHI, and they are of the world, and they want this world to continue. You don't. You want to see it destroyed. and every time you see something going on concerning prophecy, you jump for joy, and your brother is looking at you, okay, is upset and mad secret, okay, that you're happy that the world is falling apart, but he don't want the world to fall apart because he want to stay here. He like this situation because he's a non-believer. Okay, this is Matthew chapter 21. This is Matthew chapter 10, verse 21. And the brother shall deliver up the brother to death, and the father the child, and the child shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. Yeah, that's it. You got children that don't believe, but you got parents. Their parents believe, and their children is so far into the world, they want this world to continue. But the parents are like, we following YAHAWASHI, okay? And the children become rebellious in this world because of the condition and the influence of social media and the influence of man, you know, whatever they into. They looking at their parents as enemies, okay? And when persecution comes, our temptation comes, Jacob trouble comes, they're going to be trying to do that. Deliver their parents up to death, okay? That's what it is, division. Verse 22, and ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. That's it. So you got to endure all this, okay? You got to endure these conditions and walk that narrow path, okay, of danger, okay? You got to deal with it. And when you walk in that narrow path of that danger, you're going to get emotional, okay? You're going to have anxiety. You're going to have anxiousness, okay? You're going to feel like you set up for a sentence of death, like Paul was saying. But don't rely on yourself, rely on YAHAWASHI, okay? Let's jump.